Hi, welcome to Westside Library's virtual teen program for September. This month we will be making pinch pots with air dry clay. So in your kits you are going to get a Ziploc bag with a softball size hunk of air dry clay, some Mod Podge, and a couple of toothpicks. All right. So, let's talk about clay for a second. What's in your kit is air dry clay. Air dry clay does not require firing. What I mean by that is anything ceramic, cups, plates. Traditionally, it's made out of clay, it's glazed, and then it's fired in a kiln. It makes it waterproof, and you're able to eat on it depending on the glaze used. We're not doing that. We're doing something called air dry clay. Air dry clay, you do not have to fire it in a kiln. It is simply once you make your object, in this case, our pinch pot, you leave it overnight to dry. It might take more than overnight, maybe a full 24 hours, but you simply leave it out and the clay hardens. Once the clay has hardened, then you can paint it. And you just use regular acrylic craft paint that you can find at Walmart, any hobby store. A lot of you will have some of this around your house. All right. Also, air dry clay is not waterproof. So you can't say, this little pot right here, I want to put a plant in. I have to have a plastic container inside the pinch pot for the plant to hold the water. I can't directly put the plant in the pot. That's another difference between air dry clay and ceramic clay, is that ceramic clay, once it's fired in the kiln and goes through the whole process, it is waterproof. Air dry clay isn't. But if you just want to make some little decorative objects that are fun to have around your house, air dry clay is a great option. All right, so I have a couple of examples I've already made. This is a pinch pot I did. It's just a shallow dish. I painted it with a gold metallic paint, and I am currently using it on my dresser to put earrings in. This one I did, it's a little deeper. It looks more like a bowl, what you think of. This one I am actually going to paint today, and then I'm going to put a small succulent plant like a cactus in it. And then this one is another one I did, and to look like an apple. We had a slight mishap with the leaf on transport from my house to the library. But I'll show you how to fix this and how, if you are doing something that has pieces like this leaf and stem, how to shape them. So I'm going to set these aside for the moment. Also in your kit, you have something called Mod Podge. Mod Podge is kind of like this glue. It's a sealer. You have a small container of this, and what it does, once your paint has dried, you can put a layer of Mod Podge on it, and it dries clear. and it gives it a shiny finished look, similar to what you would have in a fired piece of ceramics. So I'm going to use my glue to hold down. Okay. Also, when you're using your clay, you want to put something down that has a plastic backing. I am using a piece of freezer paper. If you have like an old plastic placemat, a plastic plate, something like that, you don't want to use paper. If you have a old plastic tablecloth from like the Dollar Tree, that would be a great time to use that. But if you just, for a small working space, if you don't have one of those, like laying down a piece of wax paper, cling wrap, saran wrap, or a piece of freezer paper works great. Also like a paper plate, styrofoam plate, or like a paper plate that has the wax coating. Those work. There's like, the Dixie plates, the good paper plates. Those work. Those work really great. All right, so we have a hunk of clay. It is about between baseball, softball size. And the first thing you want to do is, if you notice this, it is really uneven. So, and we want it to be as smooth as possible. So we're just going to start working it in our hands to form a ball. Like a nice, smooth, even ball. Think of it if you've ever made meatballs. That is exactly what you want to do. Just take it in your hands and roll. And we want it as smooth as possible. All right. And this is one of the reasons why we put something down that's smooth, is because whatever the clay touches, it'll pick up the texture of. So I have something smooth that it won't stick to. Okay. I know, because the smoother it is now, the less cracks it's going to have when we start on our pinch pot. Okay. So we have our ball, and it's pretty smooth and even shaped. All right. So where does the pinch pot come in? So a pinch pot is, you're going to take your thumb, you're going to hold your clay, and you're going to take the center and press your thumb in, just in that center. And then you're going to take your thumb, kind of like one of your index fingers, and just start pinching the clay around. As you go around, and you want to keep your clay even. You want to keep the thickness as even as possible. All right. All right. And this is when you start shaping it. Yeah, and as you pinch it, it grows out. Okay. Okay, and like right now you have like this little shallow dish, and my thickness is pretty good. Okay, and you're saying, okay, and you notice these little cracks. All right, this is when you want to have a little container of water because you're going to dip your finger in the water and you're going to run your finger over the clay to smooth those cracks out. All right. All right. So that's if you want to do a shallow dish. So what if you want your pinch pot to look more like this? So I'm going to take it. I'm going to ball it back up. And that's the great thing about clay, is if you don't like it, you can start again. Okay. And if you have your air dry clay out and it starts to feel a little dry, and you're going to be able to tell if it starts to feel dry, you'll be able to just dip your fingers in your bowl of water and knead that water in, and it'll keep it moist. You never want to like just dribble the water in. That'll be too much water. It is literally, you just want like what's on. You just want to wet it with like your fingers. And you just knead that in, knead it like bread dough. All right, so I got some water in, moisten my clay, and then I'm gonna do my meatball action again. All right. Now, okay, so I have my little hunk of clay, and this time I'm gonna take and I'll make it into, roll it out, and I'm gonna keep rolling it, and I'm gonna make it into a marshmallow shape. All right. Okay, we're kind of gonna drive it down. Okay. All right. We got like this. We got like this big old marshmallow. All right. And we're going to take paper or something. All right. I'm going to take my thumb. I'm going to go in the center. And then I'm going to start pinching it. And sticking to my clay. So I'm just, and if your fingers start to stick to the clay, add a little water to your fingers. All right. And you're going to pinch it. You're going to keep going around because you want your walls, the sides of your pot, to be about the same thickness and the same height. All right. And once again, when you get it to where you want it to be, all right, we are going to take, okay. All right, we're gonna dip our fingers in the water, and we're gonna go in and smooth it. And we're gonna smooth it around to get all of those little tiny cracks. Okay. And then you would set this aside and let it dry for 12 to 24 hours. This is definitely about a 2-day project. Okay. So I've done those two. So this one I did with the idea of as maybe like a teacher gift. So what happens Okay. So if you want to attach a piece of clay, let's see. Okay. So if you have pieces you want to attach, this is where your toothpick comes in, because you're going to take and you're going to score. Basically, just make lines. You're going to rough that up. And then you're going to, I'm like repairing this. And as you can see, I had like score marks on here. And on the new clay, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make those hash lines. I'm going to smooth this. Smooth that out. All right. And so that's how you would connect two pieces. And the reason why you do the hash marks on the back is because it makes it stick. All right. All right, so I'm gonna put that aside. All right. Yeah. This stuff. Yeah. This stuff will dry on your hands and it makes it feel kind of funny, and it will get under your fingernails. If you have extra clay left over, like I have the big old bucket of it from when I bought it, put it back into it. I'm putting it back in the original container. If you have some extra from making your pinch pot, put it back in a airtight container. All right. Okay. So with this, all right. All right, so once you have your pinch pot done, then it's dried, you can paint it. I am actually just going to paint it white. And you might be asking, oh, why are you going to paint it if the clay, because the clay dries like a white color. But I want it to have like a look like fired pottery. And to do that, I need to paint it. And you just use your regular acrylic craft paint. All right, and I'll keep doing this. I'll paint the outside and the inside of it. And when I'm done, I'll put a coat of Mod Podge on it. And you'll get something that looks like this. Now this is a little bit more shiny because I did use a metallic paint. But yeah, you'll get something that has a nice gloss to it. All right. So that is our pinch pots. Thanks for joining me today and playing with some clay. I hope you had a great time. Next month's teen program will be a virtual Halloween makeup tutorial. So look for more information on that on our Facebook page and RPL website. All right, have a great day.